in front of you, that is Malaysia, which is comprised of two parts. And then the first part, which is the more developed states in that area, peninsula of Malaysia. And as you can see, the picture that I brought to you, Mr. Prime Minister of Turkey has been to Malaysia last January 2014 and has been conferred honorary doctorate by the International Islamic University of Malaysia. And then we just had recently a visit from the President of United States, which you can see here in front of the big flag, Malaysian flag. There is a small guy on the right side there. Unfortunately, after the proposal from the Ministry of Education for the University of Malaya to confer him the honorary doctorate, the University of Malaya has refused to give him the honorary doctorate, which is my university. 22 members of Senate disagree with it, only 8 which agree to do that. There are several reasons. One of them is about the humanity, because of the Palestine issues has not been resolved yet. And then to share with you, this is the main entrance of University of Malaya. And as you can see the table below, we are very much focusing on the World University ranking. We are very much focused on that. And then the University of Malaya, at the moment, we are 167 in the world under the QS University World University ranking. This one, they use the data of Scopus. The research university, meaning that in Malaysia we focus on publication and not on teaching, although we have some teaching tasks we have to do as the academics. That is a little bit relaxed part of my presentation. Now I will go into my presentation, which is to discuss the significance of Islamic Jerusalem based on the evidences from the Quran, and as well as to refute the claim that Islamic Jerusalem is not important in Islam because it is not been mentioned in the Quran. We have some problems related to Islamic Jerusalem, which the Orientalist approach in denying the significance of Islamic Jerusalem to Muslim, which they argue that the Islamic Jerusalem is not in the Quran, it's not been mentioned in the Quran. Whereas the word Jerusalem has been mentioned more than 700 times in the Bible. So if they compare the words of Jerusalem, which they cannot find the word Jerusalem in the Quran, so they come to the conclusion to say that Islam has not paid any attention to Islamic Jerusalem. So this is a different approach that we have to take into consideration how we can address this issue. From the historical point of view, when the Muslims first conquered the region, it was known as Ilia. The region was known as such in the Byzantine period prior to the conquest. The region continued to be known as Ilia for several years after the first Muslim conquest. This is according to several scholars who did their research in this matter. However, other terminologies emerged in the Quran when referring to the region. If we look into the Quranic verses, which we have already discussed in several discussion in the last couple of days, I just would like to mention it quite briefly that we have several verses here, which I start with verse number 1, Surah Al-Isra, which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned, A'udzubillahi minasyaitanir rajim, Subhanallazi asra bi'abdihi laylan minal masjidil haram ilal masjidil aqsa alladhi barakna hawlahu linuriyahu min ayatina innahu hasamiul basir. And then we have another verses also, وَنَجَّيْنَاهُ وَلُوطًا إِلَى الْأَرْضِ الَّتِي بَارَكْنَا فِيهَا لِلْعَالَمِينَ. I put some words in red for several reasons, which I will discuss later. And then the other verse, which is mentioning وَأَوْرَثْنَا الْقَوْمَ الَّذِينَ كَانُوا يَسْتَضْعَفُونَ مَشَارِقَ الْأَرْضِ وَمَغَارِبِهَا الَّتِي بَارَكْنَا فِيهَا. This is the meaning of this verse is that, and we met the people who were considered weak to inherit the eastern part of the land and the western part thereof which we have blessed. And then the other normal verse which are related to Islam Jerusalem and always been discussed with by the other presenters, which is the verse in Surah Al-Ma'idah. Ya qaumi udkhulul ardal muqaddasata allati kataballahu lakum wa la tartaddu min adbarikum fatanqalibu khasirin. O my people, enter the Holy Land Palestine, which Allah has assigned to you, and turn not back. In fact, for then you will be written as losers. If you see into this translation, this is copied from English translation. The English translation, we have various verses when they refer to or when they translate the word Al-Ardul Muqaddasa. This one, if you see the Holy Land and then in the bracket Palestine. The other version of the English translation, they put it as Jerusalem. The other version of, we have several versions of English translation. So this is the issue of translation, the terminology from the English to from the Arabic to English. The several Quranic reference to Islam Jerusalem from the verses that I mentioned before, we could see that at least at this stage we have 5 terminologies which have been referred in the Quran referring to Islam Jerusalem. Of course, if we study more, we could find more terminology or more words which refer to Islam Jerusalem. The first one, Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa alladhi barakna hawlahu. This is Al-Aqsa Mosque which we have given barakah to its surrounding. The second one is Al-Ard allati barakna fiha, which means the land which we have given barakah in it. If you may notice in this translation, we use the word barakah instead of the word or the other terminology or the other English translation into it, because we want to keep the meaning of barakah as it is, not to misunderstood people about the meaning of barakah. The third one is Al-Ardul Muqaddas, the Holy Land, and then the fourth one, I think this has been mentioned, this has been discussed 2 days ago, about the words Al-Qarya, Qura, which means the village. And then the fifth one, this one probably some would argue is not referring to Islamic Jerusalem, but I try to look from 2 tafsir which give the translation, or we give the meaning that Wadi Al-Muqaddasitwa is referring to Islamic Jerusalem. This is based on At-Tabari, who mentioned that the meaning of it in Nakabil Wadi Al-Muqaddasitwa yakni Al-Ard Al-Muqaddasa. And then based on Al-Qurtubi, he says that Al-Ard Al-Muqaddasa ay Al-Mutahhara. And then he quote Al-Jawhari in his tafsir Tua. He said this is Ismun Mawda' Bisham. Okay, in the Quran it is also it is mentioned the word Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa. The problem is that what is the meaning of Masjid Al-Aqsa? In most of the Quranic translation, English translation, I mean, they translate the word Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa into the Father's Mosque. The question may arise that, is it true Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa is the Father's Mosque during the time of the revelation, during the time of Prophet Muhammad? There are some claims that the Father's Mosque in Medina, and then some other claims that the Father's Mosque during the time of Prophet is not Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa. So this is the claim by the Orientalists, who always try to deny the significance of Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa and Beytül Makdis, Islamic Jerusalem, to Muslim people. The word Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa, if we look into this word Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa, some may argue that this is a sifat and mawsuf. I think probably this one we need some experts in Arabic language to look into this word. If we look further into the words, we may find that the particle alif lam, this will bring the meaning that that particular name is definitive. If we look into the word Allah, for instance, Allah is the definitive word, the God, the only God. So we probably, if we look further into this terminology, Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa, we may find the meaning of Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa as a definitive name, which is given by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it is not created name, and it is the eternal names given by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The term Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa has been translated into English to mean the farthest mosque, as I mentioned, the remote mosque, and the far distant place of worship. At least three different type of translation. According to Mufassirin, the reason why it was called Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa was because of the great distance between Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa and Masjid Al-Haram. Another reason for it could be it means that the masjid is far away from evil and wickedness. This is according to Al-Razi, who translated from the spiritual aspect of the meaning. Many early historical reports explain that Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa refers to a mosque in Beytül Makdis. For example, Ibn Hisham in his Sirah, Al-Balazuri in his Ansar, Ibn Sa'ad in a collective Isnad narration, and Ibn Ishaq in his Sirah state that Masjid Al-Aqsa is the mosque of Beytül Makdis. Although At-Tabari, referring to different reports, also indicated that the most reliable meaning of Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa is Masjid Beytül Makdis, or the mosque of Beytül Makdis. Therefore, it can be understood that Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa is referring to mosque in Islamic Jerusalem. In the Quran also, it mentioned about barakah. In the chapter 1, Surah Al-Isra, Allazi barakna hawlahu, the word barakah. How to understand barakah in modern days? We heard about those who argue the barakah in the sense that we do not feel the barakah at the moment because the land are under occupation. I don't want to enter into this discussion, but to look into the discussion of the Mufassirun. The Mufassirun, they always, when they discuss about barakah, they will refer to two types of barakah. The first one is physical barakah, and then the second one is the spiritual barakah. And then the question may arise, is that barakah for whom? Barakah, the land of barakah is for whom? And if we look into the other verse in Surah Al-Anbiya, verse 71, about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned how he saved Prophet Ibrahim and Lut. Ilal ardi allati barakna fiha lil alamin. So we take the word lil alamin. He doesn't say in the Quran barakna fiha lil muslimin, for example. Yeah? But it says the word used in the Quran is that lil alamin. So we may understand that from the word lil alamin, it means that this barakah is for anyone. Yeah? For anyone who would like to take that barakah. According to Ibn Manzur, Al-Faizuri, Al-Fairuz Abadi, and Al-Zubaydi, the word barakah literally means in Arabic an-nama wa ziyada, which can be understood as growth and increase. Examining the classical and modern Quranic exegetes, such as At-Tabari, Az-Zuhaili, and others, It appears that they interpret the word barakah as having two distinctive characters. These are the material and spiritual characteristics. Al-Qurtubi, for instance, further his explanation by saying that the word barakna hawlahu indicates the barakah related to the fruits and river courses and with prophets and righteous people who have been buried around Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa. The interpretation of Al-Qurtubi is shared by Ibn Kathir. I think this is one of the characteristic of the tafsir. The mufassir who come later on, they will follow the mufassir which come before him. And then this happened a lot in the interpretation of the Quran by modern mufassir. The interpretation of Al-Qurtubi, who state that the meaning of barakah from Allah is the existence of plantation and fruit, has been taken by Ibn Kathir, and he refers to the tafsir of Al-Qurtubi. And then in the Quran, it mentioned a lot of stories of the Prophet, even Prophet before Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which relate to Islamic Jerusalem. And then when mentioning about the relation between Islamic Jerusalem and these prophets, normally the stories mention about the hardship of the prophets, the hardship that they faced during their time, and then during the hardship or after the hardship, these prophets were taken to Islamic Jerusalem. For instance, the Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam, then the story of Prophet Lut alayhi salam, as well as the last prophet in Islam, which is Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The question we may ask that why is it during or after the hardship they were taken to Islamic Jerusalem? Why this happened? For instance, the Isra and Mi'raj events, the night journey and ascension events, it happened after Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam faced so many hardship. Among them is that boycott happened to him. Those people doesn't want to deal with him during those times. And then if we look into this, we can say that Islamic Jerusalem is the land of hope for these prophets, as well as for the Muslims. As a summary of this discussion, because I don't want to take long time to discuss about this, two ways in dealing with the Quranic reference. One is that the approach of Orientalists, which is the Orientalists, they do the critics, not only critics, but they deny the importance and significance of Islamic Jerusalem in Islam. Perhaps they do not understand the words which exist in the Quran referring to Islamic Jerusalem. The second one is the approach of scholars, which are to follow the method of understanding the Quran by referring to the Mufassir. At least some people, they don't want to refer to the Hadith because they do not believe in the Hadith. It happened everywhere. In Malaysia also, we have those who we call it anti-Hadith. But at least if they are anti-Hadith, they have to refer also to the Mufassir. If they refer to the Mufassir, they will understand about the significance of Islamic Jerusalem in Islam. And then of course we have several types of tafsir. If we can refer to these types of tafsir, like tafsir bil ma'thur, tafsir bil ra'i, or the modern tafsir, this will give much more better understanding about the significance of Islamic Jerusalem from the Quranic perspective. As a conclusion, I would like to say that Quran did mention about Islamic Jerusalem, although some may argue that the words mentioned in the Quran is not explicit, but we can understand this word referring to Islamic Jerusalem. We have to avoid the Orientalist method in dealing with sources. We can criticize the sources, but we need to be very careful. Critical, analytical minded is good, but then we cannot have a total denial to the significance of Islamic Jerusalem to Islam. I think that's all from me. Thank you for listening. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much, Dr. Roslan, for a very interesting presentation on a Quranic perspective relating to Islamic Jerusalem. He discussed about land of Mubarakah, land of hope, and a few other discussion relating to the critics from the Orientalists, secularists, and so on. So we'll have another presentation, a special one from Mr. Mohsin Philby. While we watch the presentation from Brother Mohsin, then we may still have a few questions to be forwarded to Dr. Roslan, inshallah, so that after the presentation from Brother Mohsin, we'll back to our discussion on Islamic Jerusalem, a Quranic perspective, inshallah. So without further ado, I would like to invite Brother Mohsin Philby to present his special presentation.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh. I have to do my best to do this in short time because it's prepared to be 1 hour or more presentation, but most of that is normally taken up with me talking a lot, going into explanations and stories concerning the sites from both history and from my experiences. So I won't be able to speak very much, or we won't finish, because we only have, I think, half an hour if I'm lucky. So this is aimed to be a visual ziyarah to Jerusalem, to Masjid al-Aqsa, and to Islamic sites around Masjid al-Aqsa, around Jerusalem in the Old City, outside the Old City, and going further into Beytül Makdis in its further reaches. So you see this is part of the Old City with Masjid al-Aqsa in the distance, and behind it the Mount of Olives, Jebel Zaytun. And you see the close relationship of Islam and Christianity living side by side. And well, this is going too fast. This Masjid al-Aqsa from a high point inside the Old City. You normally see it outside the Old City or in the enclosure. This is what you will usually see in photographs taken from Jebel Zaytun. And this, the side of the western wall, which was the Maghribi quarter before 1967, where the Jews bulldozed very quickly the Moroccan quarter. This is the extent of it. So this was a neighborhood of people originating in the Maghrib, who were also pious Muslims. They were living right next to Al-Aqsa. It's almost impossible not to be pious, I think, when you are so close. And this from one of the minarets inside, just to give an idea of the extent, because all of this in the enclosure is Masjid al-Aqsa. And you'll find within Masjid al-Aqsa is full of gardens. Also some is olive trees, cypress trees. And you will notice when you are there a perfume in the air. This is something that sticks in my memory. If I went there, if I went blind and I was taken there, I believe I would know. And I think that it's from the perfume of the cypress trees. Maybe it's from the Baraka, I don't know. Incidentally, Dr. Roslan mentioning discussion about the Baraka and that you can't experience this under occupation, I will say I disagree, because the first time I went there, I had only been Muslim for a couple of years, so I had very, very limited knowledge of Islam and of history, and I knew nothing about the connection with Jerusalem and Masjid al-Aqsa and the land of Barakah. And the first time I went there and prayed in Masjid al-Aqsa, I felt the Barakah, as if it came into me. When my head went on the ground, it is a different experience. I only experienced this Barakah there and in Medina, in the Prophet's Mosque, Masjid al-Nabi, and also in Mecca, but not Mecca because Hajj and Umrah, they are a different thing. They are hardship, they are a duty. But I kissed the black stone, and then I felt Barakah. Masjid al-Aqsa, it is. Alhamdulillah. So, Kubat al-Sakara, the Dome of the Rock, and the platform it is on is full of domes commemorating different parts. This, the near one, Kubat Roh.
Mohsen, just let me translate the one you said it in a minute. أتخيل كانت كلمة مهمة اللي قالها الآن. قال هو لما مسلم وراح إلى المسجد الأقصى لأول مرة شعر بالبركة أول ما دخل في المسجد الأقصى، وقال هذه البركة لم يشعر بها إلا عندما زار المسجد النبوي والكعبة، ليس عندما قبل الحجر الأسود. نفس الشعور عندما قبل الحجر الأسود هو نفس الشعور عندما دخل إلى المسجد الأقصى.
جزاك الله خير. I carry on this. So you see, actually around the Dome of the Rock, it's very beautiful. This from Minaret Silsila. I'm just to give you glimpses without saying too much. Sometimes I will say more and sometimes I will just go. This door, this mentions a change of direction, and this is the Qibla door of the Dome of the Rock. And so it mentioned the change of the Qibla, and the door the other side to the north. And this, one of the workers, he has the most beautiful job. In the place of Barakah, you have to clean this. This is, they are paid very small money and have a low status, and inshallah they have a big reward. It's good. Okay, I will say, you see women going in the Dome of the Rock, and inside there it is as if it's a magnet for the women, a sanctuary for the women, because there are always many, many women praying in the Dome of the Rock. They are attracted to it. But everybody is attracted to it, but they stay there. And I say, what you see, you can't see, so I'm seeing it better on the computer actually, because of the light. But I will say, inside the Dome of the Rock, it is like a palace, but it's not a palace for a king. It is a palace for Allah. It is for the glory of Allah. Like subhanallah. And this. look down. This is the rock. Behind is the shrine of some hairs of the beard of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And underneath the rock is a cave. And you will see the mihrab is very old, from Umayyad times. That is flat, does not have a curve. And this, the dome over the rock. This is part of an inner ceiling going around the gallery. And many mosaics. You see a similarity in the Umayyad. I think there's a similarity. Some of the mosaic, it's similar to Damascus. Inshallah, Damascus is a changed situation soon. So, this is the ladies praying. I give the ladies another rakat. And another one. This old man, he's teaching Quran at that time in the Dome of the Rock. And this is the Qibla wall. They're waiting for the Salah. This door, when it's open, it opens onto Jami al-Aqsa. This is just part of the decoration on the outside of the Dome of the Rock. And this, the Dome of the Chain, Qubat Silsila. This in the center of the enclosure. The Dome of the Rock to one side of this. And this to the left is Dome of Mirage, the Qubat Mirage. This flips first. This is part of architectural decoration in the Ashrafiyya, the Madrasa Ashrafiyya. And this is the Hanadin, Mimbar the Hanadin is outdoor pulpit. This different rooms and offices. There are shrines. There are offices used. This is one of the old Khatib. He is retired. That Sheikh Mohammed Jamal.
I think he passed away.
He passed away now. I don't know. And this is the architect's office, because this Isam Awad. There is continuous work to keep repairing and restoring the mosque, because this is a big project just to keep it alive. While some people try to destroy it, some people are trying to keep it alive. And also in the western wall, there are many old madrasas. There are this one has become the library. And another part here, this is used as a hospital for Masjid al-Aqsa. It is a clinic There's the office of the hospital. For anybody becomes sick. Masjid Al-Aqsa, the mosque, is the community centre, it is the university, it is school for ordinary children, for higher learning. It is a hospital, library, museum, everything. So this doctor with the patient in Masjid Al-Aqsa, this is a demonstration against the occupation outside the Dome of the Rock. And this, the Jami Al-Aqsa is looking from the roof of Dome of the Rock. And there from the side of the platform. And the children on the steps, but actually I saw criticism from the Israelis. They say, how can this be the holy place of Muslims? There are children playing like a playground. There is nothing for the children anywhere. They are under occupation. This is a space for them. And they are in this atmosphere of the masjid. This. This Mamluk fountain. Cape Bay, yeah? Sebil Cape Bay. And the boy finds a way. The taps are high, so he finds a way. And this is the western side of the enclosure. And this alcove on that west side. This is in the ceiling of the Ashrafiyya, Madrasa Ashrafiyya. And this pillars in Madrasa Ashrafiyya. This side, behind the ladies there, this is Masjid Barak. This is next to the gate of the Moroccan, the Maghribi, Bab Maghribi. No, I don't know, maybe it's closed now because they destroyed the ramp. So this Masjid Barak, and this inside Masjid Barak, this is under the ground a bit. And this, on the wall, they say where the barak is tight. So, Allahu Alayhim for that one, yeah. So this, everywhere is a place of prayer in Masjid Al-Aqsa, with a musalla, the gardens, this wudu fountain. This is one of the Mamluk buildings. And this to the north. This dome of those who love the Prophet. I forgot in Arabic. Okay. This is Ottoman, I think, this one. And this minaret Asbat, this in the northern wall. And there is school there, Al-Aqsa Mosque School in the northern wall. And these are older boys, and Bab Asbat. This Golden Gate. This was sealed up. This Bab Rahma, these are two, isn't it? Tauba. Bab Rahma and Bab Tauba. When you look down, you don't realize it's very big. Well, you can see the size of children, but when you are down, it is a large size. Let me go back. on the domes on the top, one of them, it's a room that Imam al-Ghazali was resident during his time in Jerusalem, and then he wrote Jerusalem Tract, a concise understanding of Islam, a concise definition of Islam. And this is inside that room of Imam Ghazali. That time it was Zakat office. Now it's closed, I think, by the Israelis. And this just Zaytun in the gardens of Masjid al-Aqsa. And this ancient artifacts with children playing again. This, in the background building, this has become the Islamic Museum. And this inside. I didn't put lots of things because we will spend half an hour on what is inside. So just to show that it's there. There are many Quran manuscripts, so this is just one. And this, when you come down from the Dome of the Rock, this straight into Masjid al-Aqsa, the Jami al-Aqsa. This is from the east side. From the southeast. This from roughly the south. And from the west. And one of the windows from the outside. These are two of the Aqsa Mosque guards. Aqsa Mosque guards, they are my heroes. Yeah, they are protecting it with their bodies, their lives, and just walkie-talkie. To the man on the left, that he is coming every day. He was coming to Masjid al-Aqsa reading Quran. And this, one of the guards, he's with the key for Al-Aqsa Kadima, this under the ground. And this is entering underneath in Al-Aqsa Kadima. And you see that is this very large pillar. And this opens out to Masjid Marwan. This is in Crusader times, they were keeping their horses inside here. This, to the right, when there are steps, this goes to here, this cradle of Nabi Isa. And this new gate from when the Masjid Marwan was restored. This is the new gate which was installed to allow more Muslims to pray, particularly Ramadan. So this inside Jami al-Aqsa, it's still inside. And this is different aisle. There are 7 aisles, so we're looking on different ones. And then across. To the left, this Mihrab Zakaria. And this Mihrab of Masjid al-Aqsa that the Muslims gather for prayer. This is talk of one of the Imams. And Mihrab Zakaria, this Muslims gathering, I think for Asr prayer. There's a small number because it was Asr. And the inside dome of Jami al-Aqsa. These are part of decoration in the walls of Jami al-Aqsa. This is the mosaic in the mihrab. And one of the windows, another window, another type. And there are around the walls medallions of those who are promised the paradise. The names of those promised paradise. And the brother is one of the people doing the restoration work. He's making windows. And this this is in high up in the ceiling. They are restoring the decoration on the ceiling. When I went there, the one painting, he told me they are repainting what was not painted again for 300 years. This is the first repaint in 300 years, and he told me the materials they used 300 years ago were better than what they have now. So he's one of the Aximos guards as well, inside the mihrab. And this Hamza al-Ansari, this one, he says he is the guardian of Masjid al-Aqsa, not the guard, that his family were appointed by Omar ibn Khattab to guard al-Aqsa with his life, for his life, and his son after him. So this carries to this generation. This is restoration of mosaic. And that's making Adhan in Masjid al-Aqsa. And Al-Kas, wudu fountain, which is between Al-Aqsa and the Dome of the Rock. And Jummah, the people don't fit in Jami al-Aqsa. Maybe, I don't know now, because they are stopping too many people from praying. That time the people are praying inside and outside. This is actually Sheikh Ikrama Sabri. This is prayer of Eid Adha. So it's dark, it is very early morning. And after the Eid prayer. And this looking to the Dome of the Rock from Jami al-Aqsa. And the other way, going out of Masjid al-Aqsa, this is one of the gates. This is a cotton gate. This souk of cotton merchant. Okay, coming up in the old city, this is the Church of Holy Sepulchre. This is the holiest place for Christians. This is where the Patriarch was based and still is based, and where Omar ibn Khattab took surrender of the Christians. And also where it happened that it came time for prayer, and Omar was invited by the Patriarch to pray in the church, and he refused, because if he prayed in the church, the Muslims after his time would say he prayed there, so they will take this from the Christians, and that would make conflict between Muslim and Christian for the whole of time, to the end of time. So he prayed outside. So to the left, that is the minaret of Masjid Omar, to commemorate where he prayed outside. If you see to the right of the cross, is another minaret. This is the minaret of Khanqa Salahiyya. This is from Salahuddin. This is the church. Then the keys of the church are with the Muslims. So the door is opened and closed by arrangement with the Muslims and the priests. When the priests need it to be opened, the key is with one family. Actually, there are two families. They are branches from the time of Omar, and then continuing again after the time of Salahuddin retaking the city. It came back into their hands. This Waji Nusaybin, so he was the key holder. And what he does at that time, he knocks on the door. If there are any Christians inside and need to leave, otherwise they are locked all night inside. So he calls them, and then he goes up the ladder, he locks the door, and they pass the ladder to the priest inside. The priest stays there all night. And this, from there, the minaret of Masjid Omar and the door. Masjid Omar, it was restored. And there, the other side of the church, the dome of that same Church of Holy Sepulchre, the minaret of the Khanqa Salahiyya, and this the entrance from the street to the Khanqa, and a small mosque just off the street. This for the Muslims working there or passing there to keep their salah. I speed up. I have to speed up. So there is. When I first went to the Khanqa, inside was like this. And the Muslims of the old city collected money, and they also volunteered their labour to work on this. And they restored it. So you see, cutting stone and everything. And it became new like this. This down in the ground under the Khanqa, this window, it has, you can't see, but on the top it has Allah. Next it says Muhammad, and next it has Salahuddin. And this was part of the Khanqa where Sufis will come and stay there. This is a small mosque. Around the old city, many small mosques. This Masjid Mikki, and inside Masjid Mikki. And this Zawiya Hindi, this was Indian Zawiya, mostly for Muslim from India, would visit on their way for Hajj and stay there. It became a hospital under the UN. This is the back where the mosque was. It was bombed in 1967 by the Israelis, so it's been restored. This one, this Zawiya Abu Madyan, this Abu Madyan, so this was the Zawiya of the Maghribis. This is where the visitors from Maghrib will stay. And entering in, it's a small mosque. Then there is Maqam Abu Madyan. It is not the Sheikh Abu Madyan, it is the grandson of Abu Madyan. I was told it's not his body, it's his arm, because he was Mujahideen and he lost his arm, it is buried there. In the window, there is his mace. He was riding the horse and Allahu Akbar. So, this I think Abu Madyan with the connection with Algeria as well. Yes. This one of the small mosques there. This a bit under siege. It's the edge of the area taken by the Jews. This Masjid al-Disi side. He is the guardian. He is a blind man. He is blind, but he is caring for the mosque. And this Masjid al-Hamra. This other side. And this, looking across the old city, this Masjid Omar Kabir. This is in the area taken by the Jews. And it was being restored. Just the Muslims, if they are travelling or working in the area, go and pray there. Last time I went, the people restoring wanted to show me their latest work, and we went there. They'd been working on the minaret, and we couldn't open the door. The Israeli settlers put super glue in the lock, so we were shut out. This is Mevlevi Mosque, Mevlevi and Mosque and Zawiya, and inside. And this Afghan Zawiya, it was Qadariya, Sufi Qadariya Tariqa. It became Afghan Zawiya because the sheikhs are from Afghanistan. The sheikh is second from right. He is advising somebody. And this inside the Zawiya. And one of the main streets in the old city, that Tariq Mujahideen, this is a grave of one of the Mujahideen. And that is that street. We come along it, Nashbandi Zawiya. And this inside the Nashbandi Zawiya, just the local Muslims are praying there. This Sheikh Abdulaziz Bukhari, this was Nashbandi Zawiya was Nashbandi Sufi Tariqa, also where the Muslims travelling from Uzbekistan and Bukhara, they will stay there when they travel to Jerusalem on their way to Hajj in the past. And I am going this Sheikh Rihan, this commemorating the hospital, Moristan, commemorating the hospital of Salahuddin. This the church of Hannah St. Anne. This where Maryam was said to be born. Maryam Alaysa. And it was turned into a school by Salahuddin. So it's a church, it has an inscription over the door. And then the other side, the gate, Bab City Maryam, also Bab Lion, Bab Assad. And entering, there is a cemetery by there. That is the outside of Golden Gate. And in the cemetery near Golden Gate, there are two Sahaba buried there. That is Ubadah ibn Samit, Shaddad ibn Aus, and now there became first British Muslim to be buried there, because a group of Muslims who came as a delegation from Britain, when they were brought to the graves of the Sahaba, that one, he was a Pakistani man from Britain, he made dua that Allah let me die and be buried with this Sahaba. And he continued the journey a few more days. He was leaving Palestine, he was at the airport in Tel Aviv, he fell down. And he was taken to the hospital, he died next day. So the Muslims from Jerusalem, they knew he made this dua, so they came and took his body and they buried him there by the Sahaba.
Can I translate, Muhsin? I'll translate the story. أخونا محسن يذكر قصة عندما أخذوا كانوا في زيارة للبيت المقدس المسجد الأقصى فذهبوا إلى مقبرة الرحمة وكان معهم أخ باكستاني من بريطانيا فعندما رأى قبري الصحابة تمنى أن يكون بينهم فعندما خرجوا إلى المطار وقع وهو في المطار فأخذوه إلى المستشفى فمات من ليلتها فأتوا الأخوة من مدينة بيت المقدس وأصروا على أخذ جثته ودفنوه بين الصحابيين فأصبح رجل باكستاني بريطاني مدفون بين الصحابيين فصدق الله فصدقه الله.
So I'm supposed to have finished, so I'm going just as quick and then until somebody grabs me and pulls me away. This chapel of the Christians where they say Maryam is buried inside here. And this mosque and a chapel where Christians and believe and Muslims accepted this the place Nabi Isa went up into paradise. He went up from this place. So inside there, so we don't agree what they say before he went up. So inside there is mihrab, and then there's candles from Christian visit. They pray, put a candle. Muslim go and just pray 2 rakat. And this one, that Maqam Rabi'a Adawiyah. And this is grave of many mujahideen. This also on Jebel Zaytun. This from the time of Salahuddin and from the time of Sultan Baybar. This. And the minaret, this from Masjid Salman al-Farsi. Then this is a maqam of Salman al-Farsi. And the other side of the old city, this is the old Turkish garrison, Ottoman garrison mosque, Kala, is it? Yeah. And Bab Nabi Dawud, you see it's many bullet holes. This was front line in the war. So it's full of bullet holes. And Bab Nabi Dawud, it goes to the mosque and Maqam of Nabi Dawud. The mosque and Maqam is in the hands of the Zionist. So it's taken from the Muslim. Even there is an old cemetery there. The Muslims whose families are buried there, they are not allowed to go. So this, and the Jews made it Maqam for the Jews, for Nabi Dawud. And this, Nabi Samuel, is one of the prophets of the Torah. It was a mosque, it is taken by the Jews. This, officially, it's still a mosque, but there is army there. When I went there and took photo, the army ran away. Just, they don't want their picture taken at this place. Even there were Jews praying, the Jews ran away. So if many photographers go there, from a different country, maybe all the Zionists run away, inshallah. So this, you see, when they take it, they remove the hilal. This, they take the mosque, they remove the hilal, and it becomes for them this Nabi Samuel. And this in Silwan. And Mamilla Cemetery, this ancient cemetery of Jerusalem. Now this time they took a lot of it. Now they took most of it or all of it. I don't know, because all of it. You see, this time they were destroying it already, but now, and they make a museum there. This Bab al-Amud, one of the main gates of the old city, and there is market. Then we got Masjid Ibrahimi, but maybe I have to stop. This Masjid Ibrahimi, the place of Ibrahim alayhi salam and his family. So this, I just flick. I don't. This Maqams of Ibrahim, Ishaq, Yaqub, Yusuf, their wives. And big trouble, the Zionists took half the mosque. This somebody's family in this Masjid al-Yaqin. This is in the open air with footprints. And this Masjid Nabi Lot, there is Maqam of Nabi Lot. This is in between Al-Khalil and the Dead Sea. So the sea, where was the cities of Lot, and in between, where his uncle was, Ibrahim alayhi salam, this Nabi Lot. Under the ground, inside the mosque, there is very sweet water in the well. And this Maqam Nabi Nuh. And Nabi Yunus. And this Al-Azariya, this, the one Nabi Isa raised from the dead with Allah's power. And the place the Christians believe Nabi Isa is born. This is where Maqam Nabi Yahya. This, not the head in Damascus, the body, because it's next to the palace of Herod where they cut the head. This Maqam Tamin al-Dari. This, and somebody we know is here. A couple of people we know is here, praying there. This is one sheikh, Imam Ali. It's by the road that went in between Jerusalem and Jaffa. And when they were making a new highway for Jerusalem to Tel Aviv, it was in the way, and they could not destroy it. They tried with bulldozer, they couldn't destroy it. They had to change the route of the road. So this is in between, the road is going each side. And the Minya, Kirbet Minya, this Umayyad hunting lodge, this is the mosque, Mihrab, part of the old Umayyad. Maqam Nabi Salih in Ramla, the remain of Abyad, Masjid Abyad. This is 40 Sahaba buried there. And the minaret. This Masjid Kabir in Ramla. This is Maqam for Dajjal. And inside is a well. They say this is where he is killed. And bridge of Bayba, Sultan Bayba, Jisr, and this symbol of Bayba. He is the lion, and he has a rat. The crusader is the rat. And this, anyway, Nabi Musa, and I will finish. I have to finish.
Thank you very much to Brother Muslim Bilbi for his very interesting presentation, a very attractive, impressive, and when we look at all the pictures shared by Brother Muhsin, yes, we impressed with all the designs, the artifacts and all this, and at the same time, I believe that everybody shared the same feeling that there is something that we need to do, especially to liberate and to bring back Al-Aqsa Mosque to the right way, inshallah. So, ladies and gentlemen, with us is still Dr. Ruslan and Brother Muhsin. We still have, I will just allow another 10 minutes, inshallah. Within 10 minutes, if there is any questions or any opinions that you want to share with us as a reflection from the presentation of Dr. Ruslan earlier relating to Beytül Makdis, the Quranic perspective, or min Manzurin Islami, and also the presentation from Brother Muhsin relating to the pictures, scenes from Al-Aqsa Mosque and also Islamic Jerusalem as a whole. Okay, so I will allow for you to share your opinions or maybe to ask some questions, please. Yes, please.
بسم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. جزاكم الله خيرا. اقتراح للدكتور محسن انه نحصل على هاي الصور وتكون منها البوم للمشروع، يعني انه نحصل عليها مع شعار المشروع وتكون البوم خاص فينا ان شاء الله تعالى. تكون سلام.
Suggestion from Rania, to have an album for all your collections.
It's an intention. Oh. It's an intention to make a book. In fact, it was originally one project which I devised myself, and it was an unfunded project which was very difficult to do, especially in Masjid Al-Aqsa. It's very difficult to work there. So I was doing that over a period of time, bit by bit adding, and with the intention, if I can complete, to make a book. And before we came to that point, I was offered some funds to do a book, but a small book, and that was a big book. So it became another idea to make another book as a visual guidebook to Islamic sites that most Muslims no longer know much about. Because when I was working in Masjid Al-Aqsa, I would meet Muslim visitors from countries where they are able to travel there, most of them only going for a very short time, 1 or 2 days, just to pray in Masjid Al-Aqsa. And when I talked to them, most of them did not know there are many holy and historical sites. They didn't know, many of them, about Sahaba buried there. Some of them knew about Masjid Omar, but not where it was. When it came to Masjid Ibrahimi, most of them knew, but they believed it was too difficult to go there. Which it is, but you can go from one day to another. So I made a plan to make a visual guidebook. But this, then I did the work of photography, but then the sponsor changed the idea, which made it very difficult. So this is, it's ongoing. This is what I am now working at in Malaysia. I'm trying to finish the visual guidebook, first of all. If Allah give me enough life, because I'm getting older, I will go back to the original project on Masjid Al-Aqsa.
Another 2 questions or opinions, please? Yeah, please.
لم أفهم ما ذكره الدكتور محسن، ولكن على رأي الخليل احتياطا أريد أن أسأل سؤال. السؤال أنا أريد أن أسأل الدكتور محسن ما الذي دفعه يعني إلى تصوير هذه البقاع وهذه الجزيرة؟ ما الرسالة التي يريد أن يقدمها للعالم وللأمة المسلمة من خلال هذه الصور ومن خلال هذه الجولة؟ ما الذي يجري في نفسه يعني تجاه هذا الموضوع؟
I will tell you what was my intention. No, I tell you first. My intention is mixed up with the message that I wanted to give.
نية مختلطة مع الرسالة. سيقول عن نيته لماذا أخذ هذه الصور.
So first of all, I was visiting there. Firstly, as a member of a delegation of British Muslims.
بداية زرت بيت المقدس كجزء من وفد بريطاني زار الأراضي المقدسة.
And then as a journalist during the Intifada, Intifada of 1987 onwards.
ثم كصحفي خلال الانتفاضة الأولى في الثمانينات.
And then as part of a group making video.
ثم كجزء من مجموعة صور فيلم فيديو الوعد.
And then as a contributor to a book which was called Spirit of Palestine, which had many photographs and written text by different people.
ثم كمشارك في كتاب روح فلسطين.
So what I saw in that time, because of the difficulties working there, and sometimes we were moving very quickly with the most basic equipment.
أحيانا كنا نتحرك بسرعة شديدة فقط آليات قليلة جدا.
So when I went to Masjid al-Aqsa,
عندما ذهبت إلى المسجد الأقصى,
I saw this place which affected my heart.
رأيت مكانا حرك وجداني وقلبي ومشاعري.
And the third most holy place of Islam.
من أهم الثلاث أماكن المقدسة في الإسلام.
It is under serious threat of destruction.
هي تحت خطر شديد اليهود يريدون أن يهدموه.
From Zionists.
من الصهاينة.
So I thought, how can I contribute something?
فكرت كيف ممكن أن أقدم شيء.
It's part of showing it to people, because I am a photographer, so I am dealing visually. I can show.
أنا مصور ورسالتي هي إيصال هذا الإحساس إلى الناس أجمعين.
So my idea was to use photographs as part of education
للتعليم
for Muslims
للمسلمين
and non-Muslims. So I decided, instead of simple basic equipment, very fast, get what you can, to do very more higher quality equipment, working very slow.
لذلك قررت أن أعود وأصور بتقنية أعلى من التقنية التي كانت معي سريعة في المرة الأولى.
Then because in the Western world, Western world, both Muslims and non-Muslims, non-Muslims in particular, they love art,
يحبون الفن,
they love beauty,
يحبون الجمال,
they love architecture.
يحبون العمارة.
What I saw of the Zionists,
الذي رأيت من الصهاينة,
when people are looking at them,
عندما ينظر الناس إليهم,
they don't do so many bad things.
لا يفعلون الكثير من الأمور السيئة.
When the people don't look at them, when they look away, they did the bad things.
عندما لا ينظر الناس إليهم يشنعون في الأمور السيئة.
So I had an idea to make something on art and architecture of Masjid al-Aqsa.
لذلك قررت أن أفعل شيء من أجل العمارة والفن في المسجد الأقصى.
To appeal to non-Muslims.
حتى يجذب غير المسلمين.
For the beauty.
من أجل الجمال.
And to have text from different writers.
ويكون مرافق له نصوص من عدد من المؤلفين.
Which was a text from Muslims, not from Orientalists,
ليس من المستشرقين والصهاينة.
So text from Muslims.
نصوص من المسلمين.
This then becomes good for Muslims.
فتكون لأجل الإسلام.
And if non-Muslims see it, it's educating
وعندما يراه غير المسلمين يتعلموا شيئا من ذلك.
At the same time, is dawah.
وفي نفس الوقت يكون دعوة.
So this is very.
That's great, excellent, brilliant.
I haven't finished, but this was the first.
هذا الأول.
It got put aside.
لكن وضع جانبا.
For the second.
الثاني.
Which became complicated.
الذي عقد الأمر الموضوع الكتاب أصبح معقدا.
So the idea of the second was a visual guidebook, so Muslims know what there is and they can go and visit.
يكون كتاب يتكلم عن الأماكن المقدسة في كل الأرض المقدسة، في كل بيت المقدس، حتى يعرف المسلمين أين يزوروا هذه الأماكن.
At the same time, it is a record of the existence of these places at this time in history.
ويسجل لهذه الأماكن الموجودة في زماننا حتى لا تندثر.
In the face of people who wish to destroy those
لأن
places.
هناك أناس يريدون أن يهدموا ويمسحوا هذه الآثار الإسلامية عن وجه الأرض. وهذا كل ما عندي.
Thank you very much to Brother Mohsin and Dr. Ruslan for this very interesting session. And I believe that we want it longer and longer, inshallah, with all the discussion, fruitful discussion, ideas, and so on. By the way, because to liberate Beytül Makdis, we have to be strict with our discipline as well, so that we end this session. And thank you to Brother Mohsin and Dr. Ruslan for their sharings, their knowledge that has been shared with us. So hopefully everything will help us to increase the level of jihad among us, and also our love towards Beytül Makdis, inshallah. So I will pass to Professor Dr. Abdul Fattah Al-Awaisi to continue for the next session, inshallah.
شكرا جزيلا للأستاذ محسن كلبي على هذه الصور الرائعة، وعنده آلاف من هذه الصور. أنا اطلعت على بعض هذه الآلاف التي صورها منذ أن بدأ يزور المسجد الأقصى منذ ما يزيد على 20-25 سنة، وهو بالمناسبة من المؤسسين للمشروع المعرفي لبيت المقدس في عام 94. صوت صامت ويعمل في الجانب المهني الذي يعرف به، وهو التصوير. والشكر أيضا للدكتور رسلان محمد نور على ورقته الجميلة حول بيت المقدس من منظور إسلامي أو من منظور قرآني للآيات القرآنية التي استعرضها، التي تتكلم حول بيت المقدس. والشكر موصول أيضا لرئيس الجلسة الدكتور أمين الرشيد بن ياتيبان، مدير معهد التميز لدراسات بيت المقدس بجامعة شمال ماليزيا. لدينا الآن استراحة فقط 15 دقيقة، وعندنا 15 دقيقة. الشاي موجود، لا مسموح الخروج لأنه في عنا الجلسة الأخيرة والجلسة الختامية. الجلسة الخامسة سيرأسها الدكتور نواف هايل تكروري، أمين عام هيئة علماء فلسطين في الخارج، وسيكون عنوانها الأخطار الحالية التي تواجه بيت المقدس. وعندنا كلمة من البروفيسور إبراهيم أبو جابر من أم الفحم، وهو أستاذ في العلوم السياسية في جامعة النجاح الوطنية بنابلس، وأيضا الأستاذ محمود عطون رئيس جمعية إرادة العالمية للشباب في إسطنبول. 15 دقيقة لو سمحتم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.